So today we're going to start talking about word problems in general. We have seen some, particularly dealing with Jimmy, our boy Jimmy. Um, and what we'd like to do is kind of expand on it a little bit. We're going to talk about kind of the particular strategies for any word problem and look at a couple specific ones. So this is one of the specific ones. This would be a two equation, two unknown problem. Uh, for those of us in Algebra 2 or college algebra, we should recognize these problems pretty easily. They're usually coins, stamps, tickets, ticket prices, that kind of stuff. So we know how to set those up where you set up nickels plus dimes, like in this case where it says I have nickels and dimes. And we're going to get the jar if we can guess correctly. And it says that for nickels and dimes, there's 1130. And the worth of them for a nickel would be 5 cents plus 0.1 for dimes, and that would give me the $100. We've seen that a whole bunch of times. However, while that's great, that takes time. And not only does it take time, the numbers are kind of mucky. How about this? How about we use our strategy from before? I'm going to try a little plug and chug action. So it says we are looking for how many dimes, and I'm going to start with C. So if I have 870 times 0.1, which is how much a dime is worth, that would mean I have 87 bucks in dimes. So that's not too bad. If there is a total of 1130 coins, that means that 260 would be left over for my nickels. And that would mean that I have 13 bucks. And hey, look at that. That total is 100. So I already found the right answer. And that was simply by plug and chug. If I had thought out the two equation, two unknown, if I had drawn it out, it would have been a lot tougher, would have taken more time. If I realized that my value was a little bit low, so say I had come up with $90, that clearly means I need more dimes because nickels are worth less. If I had come out a little high, I know I would want to back off the dimes a little bit. So whenever addressing a two equation, two unknown, and you have multiple choice answers, try that plug and chug method we talked about. So another big concept with word problems is writing equations. So they're going to ask you to write an equation with unknowns in it, not actually solve it maybe. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. In this case, we're actually just going to simplify. So we are building a boat production facility. It costs $10 million. Each boat costs $7,000 to create, and we're going to make $20,000 per boat, the selling price will be. So if we're working that out, we need to think about the variables. They usually will assign you a variable. If they don't, you can make up whatever you want. I could have said P for price. It doesn't really matter what you choose for your variable, but I do know that I am going to make 20,000 per boat, but it costs me 7,000 per boat. And then I also, since it says which of the following expressions represent profit in dollars, but it also says including the cost of the production plant, which was 10 million. And cleaning up, simplifying, it looks like my answer will be A. So just make sure that you read carefully, make sure you read the stipulations. It was very possible it said not including the cost of the production plant, in which case my answer would have been E. So be very careful how you read it and what your variables are when you are writing your equation. All right, lastly is know your definitions and draw. We talked about drawing last week. Today we're going to look at sides of a square that are 3 centimeters long, one vertex. We need to know what the word vertex means, and whenever you think vertex, think corners or where segments meet. So one vertex of the square is at 3, 0. 3, 0 on the coordinate plane would be to the right 3. So it says on a coordinate grid that's square, which is not super important. I doubt they would try and confuse you with that. It also has a little bit of TMI going on, so we want to read carefully. Centimeter units, who cares? We don't. So it says which of the following points could also be a vertex of the square. So if you're looking at several points, why not plot all of them? So I could go over 6, 0. That's 3 spaces away. I actually already found my answer. That would give me a square with sides of 3, whether the square went down or up. Those are on the corners, so that's great. I know my answer is A. Feeling good about that, but let's try the others. So going over 4.5 up 1.5, that's not going to give me sides that are 3 long. Over 1 up 2, kind of tempting because it looks kind of like 3 away. Not exactly, so we're not going to use that. Down 2, same deal. Looks like it might be 3 away, but we are not making a square here by using those. Those aren't 3 units away. I could try and find the distance. And then also negative 3 comma 0, which from my original starting point is 6 units away, so not exactly what I'm looking for. So know your definitions and draw.